Hello, my name is Anna Nilsson,
And I'm Matteo Ghetti.
and we are the Two Founders podcast, a podcast about startups and sales specifically.
Yep. And everything in between.
Okay, so what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, I'll talk about the Google stock that plummeted and the quick news about the former CEO of Uber, Travis Kalanick, that now started a new venture called Atoms.
Okay, and I will talk a little bit about military investment and like how to do a startup in the military industry because that's huge.
It's fairly relevant
right
in the
now.
EU.
It's
Yeah.
pretty relevant.
So what's happening with Google? Their cloud earnings is going upward of 82%. They closed a deal with Oracle, an exclusive deal with Oracle, to use Gemini, so the frontier model of Google, in the Oracle cloud, right? And their earnings are going up, but their stock is down 7.8%.
Okay, that's interesting.
Right? 4 reasons. To give you all some magnitude of what does this mean is $755 billion disappearing. The magnitude of this is the whole size of Toyota Motors or American Express. Or for the consumer side, you can think it as both Starbucks and Spotify disappearing.
Sounds like a lot.
It's a lot of money. So there are 4 reasons. So the first reason that everyone is talking about from a financial perspective is the $200 billion meant for CapEx, so capital expenditure. Google was planning to invest $190 billion, but now they went into $200 billion.
Okay.
And this somehow created a bit of a tension with investors because it's a lot of expenditure. It's unclear when they're going to get all this money back. And I mean, we talk about this in a similar way with Microsoft. In their case, it was like minus 20%. It was like unprecedented, but still it was the same. Like there is all this money spent into trying to capture the attention of the AI and the AI market. When are the investors going to get their money back? So, and this was not really clear. And their CFO said that it is needed in order to capture the demand in the future and that this $15 billion will make Google way more relevant in both in the cloud infrastructure space and in the AI space. So a bit of a worry about would this 15 billion extra actually really do something on this AI race? I think it's a great time to buy Google stock. And I think if I remember correctly, I think I saw on Bloomberg that this was not happening since like the last 25 years of Google going down like this. So it is an unprecedented moment, similar to Microsoft.
So they are investing in AI or?
I mean, Google, they have Gemini, they have their Google Cloud has transformers and they have TPU. So, I mean, they always invested a lot into AI.
Interesting.
Just the question, I guess, from investors is amazing. You keep investing in it, but when are we going to get this money back? But there are other reasons, right? Like I might buy this thing of adding CapEx and 15 billion sounds enormous, but we're talking about a company that is printing money. They are almost around 400 billion in revenue, Google, right? 15 billion is not really that much in that sense. So I don't know if I'm really leaning into 15 billion extra made everyone crazy. But what happened is in those last couple of weeks, the Korean stock market went down 20%. And what's important is because the Korean market has Samsung and another couple of players that are extremely important in the semiconductor business. It is all about GPU. That is the fundamental part of AI. So if the hardware part, right, the connector part of the AI is going down, then investors are a bit more on their toes, walking on eggshells. So I think that 15 billion was just the cherry on top, right? The last thread that made everything explode. But I don't think it's just the 15 billion. 2 more reasons. One, and this one is actually the one I find most interesting. So 200 billion in CapEx, capital expenditure. And it's not that since the last year they did not invest money. So they kept investing into AI, probably almost like more than $500 billion. Why isn't Gemini as good as Claude or ChatGPT? So the question of these investors has been, why don't you have a frontier model? Why Gemini is bad? Or more than bad, why are you 6 months behind? And now there is also the China models that are open source, and they are basically as good as the frontier models of 6 months ago. So if you think about Claude or ChatGPT 6 months ago, now at the moment of recording is the last of July. So think about January, February. If you think like the market of AI in that era, open source models are now at that capability. Why isn't Gemini kind of dominating, right? Is what's happening. And I buy this one way more than just the 15 billion compared with together with the Korean market. And then the fourth reason that I don't think is important whatsoever in all this is that the European Union fined Google $1 billion because of not proper conduct in their Google Play Store, because they kept basically recommending their own products. So a bit of not really unbiased behavior. And the reason why I don't really buy it is, again, in a company that is basically printing 400 billion a year, they get been fined 1 billion.
I don't think that matters at all that they were fined. It's also not like a recurring problem. They can just fix it and then
I think so.
it in that sense. Yeah, they pay a little bit of fees right now, but otherwise, in general, I don't think that's.
I guess you can pinpoint at the trust, right?
Yeah.
If they recommend their own products, then like me as a user, I might trust them less. But is that trust worth 255 billion? Basically, Toyota disappearing?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, out of these reasons, I feel the Gemini
is and the Korean one. I understand the hardware going down might make more pressure on. Then maybe AI is gonna go down because like kind of like a domino.
I don't really understand that.
So if the semiconductor is going down, that is like what is providing AI up.
Yeah.
The worry is, okay, then AI is going down, and since Google keeps investing in AI, I'm gonna sell my stocks because they're not gonna be worth that much. That it's tied to the first one of when I'm gonna see my money back.
I don't understand, but no, I don't understand what's the link there.
The link is if the hardware behind AI is going down in value in stock market, the stock market is going down. It went down 20%.
But if the value of AI goes up and they need the semiconductors, then the value is going to go up. Like, I don't really understand. Like, the AI is the cause. The AI should be the one going first, right?
No, I think it would be the hardware. Yeah, because to build better models, you need more hardware. So if the hardware is not able to provide, is not able to sustain the supply chain, hardware goes down because they don't get the contracts. Okay. But then the AI model, the next in the equation, they are not able to become better within a specific time frame. So not really an AI bubble, but the value then of the software company is going to go down. And then I understand that if you are heavily investing into AI in Google, you might say now is a good time to sell before the stock market in AI goes down 20%. So it's not linear, or maybe it's all four together. For good reason. So the story here is just that one, right? If you have investors, and Google has, you also have to have like a plan of when they're going to get their money back. And just because you're printing money doesn't mean you can be lavish with your expenditure. It has to always be tied to a specific revenue target. So if for the startups there that are scaling and they feel immortal, great for you, but still don't just throw money at it.
Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to talk a bit about the investments in the military sector, because I think it's apparent for everyone that defense and military is huge right now. And the reason why I thought about it was actually because Uppsala Innovation Center, which is our accelerator, they did a post lately on that they are improving their collaboration with the military space. So they're focusing on pushing startup companies in that direction, or trying to be extra helpful towards them, which is surprising, or it's not surprising, but previously they've been really focused into life science and maybe a little bit into tech. But now I guess they're pushing this openly a little bit more. Another reason why I looked at it was because I saw this startup news that there was this company called Aegon that appeared from nowhere. They don't have a website. They have been completely in stealth mode, and they raised a 30 million seed investment.
So they went against every lean startup method. Yes. Like they're completely invisible until the very last moment.
$30 million. And they had, there was some details in it. So 7 million were in pre-seed, and then another 23 in seed. So they do this product where they do a simulated world where drones can practice navigating. So
that's super cool.
That's super cool. It's such a strange idea in that sense. And they were founded this year. So it's been 6 months. Now they have a 30 million seed investment from 6 months. So this caught my eye because it made me think, okay, well, interesting. How does that even work? How do you navigate as a military startup, right? And actually, I looked a little bit into the founders, and one of the founders, Tristan Constant, he is a former soldier and has 13 years of experience as a soldier.
Check on the domain expertise.
Yes, exactly. And then he also worked in tech companies. But the other one, he's co-founder of 6 companies. And he started in a VC fund. So I think he comes with the capital in a sense.
So you have both, right? You have the execution experience, you have the domain expertise, you have the capital.
Yes. So the other startup founder, he's the money. His name is Junaid Hussein, or I'm assuming. I just looked at his LinkedIn. I don't know that much about it. Anyways, I don't want to focus on them. I just thought it was interesting with this stealth mode and 6 months and 30 million evaluation. That's insane. And the product was fun as well. Furthermore, Antares raises $470 million for military-focused microreactors.
We went up like a zero.
This field is booming. And actually, the European Union has a European Defense Fund where you can get verification money.
Actually invested in that.
You invested in that?
Yeah.
How does that work?
It's an index fund that it's open.
Oh, it's open as an index fund?
Yeah, it's open in the Swedish stock market at least. So yes, I put some money in it. Yes. I'm supporting the stories you're talking about.
So this fund has a budget of 7.3 billion and 2.7 is allocated to collaborative defense research and 5.3 billion for collaborative capability development projects.
Okay.
So just there is money pushed in that direction.
I don't think my contribution is that relevant in a 7 billion fund, but I still contributed.
Yeah, right? Okay, but that's just some background. So now we know this is a booming field. Okay, who cares? We're a sales startup podcast, right? So I did a little bit of investigation on how do you actually sell in the startup? How do you build a startup company in the military field? And I read this article from Eric Kalanick. So he is a co-founder of a Lithuanian company, SSQ, that was acquired by Quantum Systems this July for $1.2 billion.
Congrats to them.
So he writes this article, Medium article, on how to do sales. So his first advice is to go with hardware. Software is really difficult in the military phase. They want things made of metal that go boom and explodes. So, but you can, of course, do software in the military space as well. And he talks a little bit about the sales cycle length being extremely long and very complicated. But once you actually get in there, you get a really, really stable source of income where the contract value is going to be really large and it will be usually for 5 years at least once you get a contract like that.
Kind of like a governmental contract, right? We heard similar from a university that they would do like 3 to 5 years in 5 years. So yeah, if you get these kind of contracts, they're fairly sweet. You have like cash flow for 5 years at least.
Exactly. So even though maybe software specifically is a bit tricky in the military phase, they're more skeptical. It still has that year-over-year revenue. Another thing that he focuses on is if you're specifically doing software, maybe this is not for weaponry or hardware in the same sense, but to try to make it work for many different industries. You're going towards military, but for example, maybe your product also works in the civil system because then you're going to get other investors involved. He's also talking about this difficulty with investors within the military space because since the boom around 2020 with the war on Ukraine, the world changed its attitude towards investment in the military. A lot of VC firms started to open their eyes towards military startups, but the problem is that they don't understand always how that space works. So they'll take up your time and get a lot of meetings, and then they'll get cold feet in the last minute and never invest in you. So be a little bit careful on following investment firms that haven't done military investment before because it is a different market. Try to go with the ones that have that previous experience. And I think what he specifically talks about is this, okay, it's going to take time. There's a longer curve when it comes to managing these sales than in any other space. But the investment is a really good return on investment. And once you secure those contracts, they're going to keep coming back.
It's kind of the same feedback we got when we went into life science.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hey, only go with VC firms that have life science expertise and that they actually sold to pharma because pharma is low, is peculiar. There is regulatory and medical affairs, and VCs that are not into that, they were going to get cold feet. So it's kind of almost a one-on-one
really
mapping.
Similar. Yeah, exactly. It really reminds of that, right? And also once they get a contract in, they're going to want to keep going with that one because if you proved yourself and you're saving lives or doing what you should be, they don't want to switch out those systems. Another thing is to make sure to integrate into other military systems. So do your proper research. What other products are out there? How do they communicate with each other so that when you come with your software or your product, it just integrates into this as a part of the environment in that sense, that now it's a plug and play. So the way I understand it, military equipment and military software is different from that of the world. It's not about integrating with the Google Drive anymore, like every other app, but it's about integrating to the navigation system of drones, for example.
Probably a lot of it is going to be on premise. I don't expect them to use just a typical API SaaS subscription in your AWS. Probably you have to go there and deploy on premise.
Absolutely. And that's actually interesting that you're saying that, because actually another thing about premise that he says, it's like, okay, if you're not in Ukraine right now, you don't exist. So if you want to do a startup in military, get your product out there, get it into the field as soon as possible. So he really, really pushed that as a good place to start.
Validation, kind of.
Validation, exactly. So even in the military, it's all about validating with the so-called customer in that sense. That
makes sense.
Now you actually have that opportunity to help with your product directly and actually make sure that it does what you think it should do. So he's kind of like pushing to go there and be part of that. And I just want to address again how the longevity of these contracts are. I have a fantastic example, which is Palantir.
No, of course.
They revealed that they have 125 customers after 17 years. That's it. 125 customers. And each customer provided $5 to $6 million of revenue. So,
and if I'm not mistaken, isn't the company run by Peter Thiel?
Yes.
So he has also branding, trust, and so that's a tough one.
It's shocking to me that they have 125 customers. That is nothing. I mean, Palantir is like one of the companies that people actually talk about. It's really famous.
I have actually something about Palantir. So I got pitch lab by a Stockholm company that wants to be basically the Palantir of Europe.
Yeah.
And they had like this projection of, we're going to be Palantir, and everything is basically stemmed from Palantir, except the revenue projection, where somehow they're going to become like a unicorn in 3 years. And that was exactly the point that I made, right? When they digged in the Palantir numbers, and I'm like, hey, you are not Peter Thiel, respectfully, right? I will respect these founders, but they are not at that level. They don't have that kind of contact within the military. They have a contact in the military, but not the seniority that Palantir had. And it still took them forever to Palantir to get like this kind of traction.
Yeah.
I believe in them. I might invest, but definitely it's not the 3 years. Right?
Yeah.
I think we're looking at a decade, if not more. The only thing I might enjoy there is the stability, as you say, of the contracts that they keep paying. But yes, if you are in the military or government, because for me they're fairly tied, take those timelines seriously, right? I mean, you still have to pay rent.
Yeah.
And I think it's going to take twice as much time, if not 3 times as much than any other standard enterprise contract.
Absolutely. And I mean, I guess it's a good idea to partner early if you're going to go into this field, or because I mean, especially after reading this, it seems really complicated to land these kind of deals. They're extremely long and they're extremely substantial, but how are you even going to survive as a young startup? It is tricky, I would say.
Yeah. So you mentioned about stealth. Funny that, because I have another stealth story.
Yeah.
After 7 years or 8, actually, depending on which blog you read, guess who came back from the shadows? Travis Kalanick, the former CEO of Uber. That, mind you, in 2017, the board forced him out. He did not want to leave, right? And he's really vocal about it on X. Extremely vocal about it. He still holds a grudge, and we're going to come back to that. And he has raised $1.7 billion for Atoms. Now, Atoms is a physical AI company, similar to what I mentioned with Bezos in the last episodes. The company of Bezos was Prometheus AI, where he wants to target engineering. Similar here in the case of Travis, where he wants to target a real-world AI. So in the same company, the target is physical kitchens and mining. That is fairly weird for one company to wanting to do both. And I checked, he has over 250 job applications, and he looks for both mining engineering and geology engineering, and chefs and people that has worked in the R&D and kitchens and mechanical engineering. Definitely it's something that I was not expecting. But to his point, only the 2% of GDP, global GDP worldwide, is software. So think Anthropic, Google, Microsoft, not Apple because it's hardware, Microsoft, they all are competing for 2% of the global GDP.
Okay.
Travis says, I'm going for the 98%.
That sounds accurate.
Doesn't it make sense? So in this 1.7 billion round, we have Andres Horowitz, of course, that is A16Z, one of the most known VC firms. And we have Uber. So Uber invests in atoms. And this is fairly interesting from a human relationship because he still holds a grudge for Uber, right? He did not want to go, basically. The same of Elon Musk that still holds a grudge on PayPal merging with X when X was his and PayPal was Peter Thiel. So we have something there of, I'm really curious what's going to happen at a human level between like the Uber investment and him, because this is something also I heard from many other VCs that is founders keep a grudge. Yeah. They hold it for several decades. They're not going to let it go. So if he's going to make them money, it's going to be a fun moment. And everyone talks about Elon Musk because every VC got money from Elon Musk. But I just want to say that Benchmark, another VC company that invested in Uber in early stage, so into Travis, they made 650 times, again, 650 times what they invested in, right? So Travis is not to be overlooked. He's also an amazing entrepreneur, right? A great founder. And so I'm really looking forward to see what he's going to do with Atoms. And the competition with Jeff Bezos, I mean, it's not that small of a competition. Yeah.
So what do you see in the future, 5 years?
So there is slightly different. I'm going to talk about Atoms and then maybe circle back on Prometheus. But from Atoms, everyone wants cars to be, an automatic pilot. But there is lots of questions about, the typical, what if there are accidents or someone dies? But in mining, I mean, if you send only automated machinery in it, almost like a drone, but on wheels weighing a ton or 2 tons, the risk of death, of course, minimal, right? You go, assuming there is no human within this mine. So I would expect in 5 years, we're going to have these automatic machines mining. And I might expect actually more kitchens to be more optimized. And maybe we can cook something from an R&D lab rather than from a chef. And McDonald's didn't do something fairly similar with the design of franchise where everything is super optimized. Today you have people, right, kind of moving things around. I don't see why Travis couldn't move things around. So I can see fast food maybe being automated, and I can see mining materials being automated.
Absolutely.
If someone would have asked me, I would have invested in Atoms, but
100%.
But no one called me. So if Horowitz, if you're listening to this, I'm open to invest a bit. Probably I don't have your numbers, but still, I would like to invest.
Yes.
Yes. And from Prometheus, I know we talked about it the last time, but really quick, I would also see maybe that Amazon packages are completely packaged by machines.
Sounds great to me. I mean, efficiency in making of food has happened constantly. And I guess this is just the next step in that. It sounds natural to me, and mining, I'm actually surprised it's not already like that.
Yeah, right. I was also surprised. But in a way, we're going also towards hardware. But again, I want to remind, I mean, if you look at the market capitalization, within the top 10 companies aren't like 8 pure software.
Yeah.
And again, 2% of the GDP. So really smart to try to target the 98%.
But I actually think like these kind of homes or like cooking robots and stuff, they exist. It's just like, it's not about inventing something completely new. It's just about increasing the value of them constantly. Like, I mean, a lot of people have Roombas at home these days. Like, isn't that kind of like a simple AI, but it does figure out how to clean the floor.
There was a Reddit AMA about it. That is, the Pareto rule, 80-20. Kind of everything is 80-20. This VC, somewhere in the Bay Area, he said that all their investments in robotics failed dramatically. And it was because of the 80-20. So 80% of the things could be automated in 1 year. The POC, MVP, 80% was done flawlessly. But the remaining 20% was what made everything, is all edge cases. So one problem is hands, right? We have thumbs. They are so versatile that we don't think about it. But this is like millions of years of evolution. And you need to try to make it into a couple of years. That's usually not possible.
I mean, most animals don't have thumbs, right?
Yes, exactly.
So apparently it's not that easy.
Think about the simplicity of it. What we talked about packaging. What do you need in packaging? You need the QR code. Right? So the way you apply it to the package it has to attach perfectly. It doesn't have to have wrinkles. Otherwise, the QR code or scanners, they cannot blip it. But if you don't have our hands, that task is extremely difficult because packages, they are not all flat. Sometimes you think about clothing, like they might be all wrinkly. And the way we would put it with our index and thumb, right? That movement, extremely hard to replicate, apparently.
Interesting.
So think about that 1 trillion industry now is being stopped because they cannot apply QR codes to packages.
Yeah, that's insane.
Right?
That's crazy.
A bit of an add-on. LinkedIn nugget for you. With the new LinkedIn update, you can now flag a comment or a post for AI slop. And the trend is this is going to make us all into crusaders and kind of corner specific people we do not like.
Yeah, I guess. Okay, let me think about it. Because the perspective is that humans are really good at detecting AI stuff.
I guess so, yeah. Or like there was a comment from the current CEO of LinkedIn that they wanted to do something on AI. That is also fun because I keep getting notifications from LinkedIn that says, hey, do you want to rewrite this post with AI? But that aside, yeah, they wanted to minimize the damage because there was a report that 40% or 60%, I don't remember that number, but say half of the content of LinkedIn is written by AI.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And people are becoming a bit tired of it.
Of course.
So they took like extreme measures of, okay, just flag it.
Yeah, I mean, it's a stupid measure, right? It's kind of like saying, we're going to do something. Let's put a flag here. Like, it's not really doing anything except, I guess, if I thought that somebody was writing AI slop, I would just unfollow that person, right? Isn't that the good way to do it? Or I don't understand what flagging it is going to do.
Well, so yes, you could do that. Absolutely, right? But now if like, think about from a bot perspective to a bot perspective. So anyone that posts something, if you have like this bot-driven LinkedIn, they would go and comment. So even if you yourself, you would remove them from your feed, the profiles that are going to become more and more popular are just bots for bots.
Yeah.
And then your profile is going to kind of be pushed on the side because LinkedIn rewards what works.
Okay.
And if what works is a kind of AI slop, because other AI comments on it and likes and shares, you understand, right? Then you're going to be put into not a shadow ban, but you're going to be deprioritized. So that's the worry, I guess.
So LinkedIn becomes an AI for AI forum.
That is the internet dead theory.
I don't understand why like users to flag it.
I guess they wanted to show they're doing something.
Yeah, I mean, that's insane. It's also surprising because didn't they push to use AI to some extent?
Oh yeah, they did. They do. They do. As I said, like I get like at least once a day of, hey, can you rewrite this post with AI? Or, hey, do you want to rewrite your whole profile to attract clients with AI? Like, and no, I don't.
That's insane to me. It's like, and also especially 40%, that's crazy.
Yeah, 40.
But it makes sense. Like, I mean, literally everyone is saying, oh, if you want to succeed on LinkedIn, you have to post every single day and you have to comment on 20 people each day. This is the common advice. And then, okay, either you do that or use an AI to do it if it works equally well with AI.
Yeah, no, it takes me a lot of time, but it is mine is manual. You can notice there's plenty of grammar errors.
Exactly. Unless you put that in your AI bot.
I will not.
The Italian version.
The Italian version of my AI bot.
I had this question from Julia. She's an early stage startup with no current customers,
Really
but
early.
she is now in talks with a customer for a 3,000 euros yearly contract. And the way she wants to propose that deal is to have a free pilot. And she's asking a little bit about, does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, don't do free pilots. We have experience with that. Is free pilots, they have a high chance of not converting, and multiple reasons. First, you want to include procurement as soon as possible. Second, you want to draft a statement of work as soon as possible. And third, you're also putting in the room the right people, even if you're only asking a tenth of that. So it was 3,000, right?
Yeah.
So even if you're asking $200 to $300, well, that's going to still put the right people in the room because it's money leaving the company. Right. So you get like so much validation, and procurement sometimes can take 3 months, and it's amazing to put procurement in the table before rather than after, right? You need cash right now. While if you do a free POC, they might use it or not. And even if they like it, then you're going to start all that kind of jazz way later. So charge now, because if they really have a problem and they really need it, there's not going to be a problem to pay a tenth of the yearly fee up front.
No, I completely agree. I mean, I think it's great that she is talking about that yearly revenue, that's already on the table. I would definitely put down or try to put down what your relationship is going to look going forward, maybe even talk about several years as a potential And if this is a pilot project, I'm assuming that the product isn't completely finished. So doing it for free, it's so risky in the sense that we were in that position that they kept asking for features, and that the change between being free to being paid, it just kept being pushed towards the future.
Yeah.
While exactly as you say, if they pay, they start to feel aligned with the project a little bit more.
Yep.
They are more interested in actually using it and so on. So I completely agree.
Yeah, and we have that experience ourselves, right? Asking money up front provided better conversion.
Better feedback, better conversion, better talks to investors, better conversations with other customers as well.
Yep.
And I think that if a customer is saying, no, I don't want to pay for the pilot, I think if you can explain how positively it's going to impact you, they're going to understand why that's good for them as well. Because that means if you become more stable as a startup company, that means that they invest in a product that's going to also be more stable. So it is also in your customer's best interest to pay for the pilot. Thank you for listening to the Two Founders podcast. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye.